Hello, friends. My name is Jason. I'm my partner at TheChartGuys. And what I like to do is talk about applying trade theory into trade practice. How do we talk about 2-minute oversold bounces or waterfalls or trend changes? What does that look like when it's put into practice? So today we're going to be talking about a trade on NIO that was given to me by a member of the community, a prestigious member of the community. In fact, Dan was streaming this morning and pointed out this trade. So what we're going to do is talk about what this trade looked like, the context of it, and walk through it from initiation to our multiple exits. So let's get started on NIO right now. So the first part of being able to do a trade setup or trade theory is being understanding of the context we're in. So I'm going to use the chart replay feature, and I'm going to be going back and looking at what the NIO chart looked like this morning. So as we woke up this morning pre-market, we saw we had 3 days of green. We had a big profit taking day. We had another red day, bulls buying the bounce. So that suggests that short-term bears are a little bit exhausted, and we're trying to set a daily higher low above our EMA 12. It's been a pretty good area for us so far, so no reason for it not to continue to do so. So that's the sort of context we have in mind. Short-term bears are exhausted. We're going to be looking for optimal entries to get a daily higher low set. Go to our 2-minute time frame. This is where the magic starts to happen. And we have areas of support and resistance. So pre-market, I want to mark out the fact that I have $49 as a pretty key, pretty consistent area of support. And then I'm going over here and looking at my areas of resistance. We're right in the middle of this pack still, from yesterday's low to yesterday's afternoon high. And I can see some congestion up here. Our last little high, the furthest the bulls got on the afternoon right before close was 50.74. And I can see in pre-market, we are setting up some exploratory probes to see what the order book looks like up in that area. We hit some resistance at 50.53, and that's enough of an attempt for the bulls. Now, going into the market open, we know that the bulls have pushed all the way up there. Relatively clear all the way to 50.53. So there's a good chance that they're going to try and push in that direction with a nice little area of support. If 49 breaks right away, then yeah, we'll look to the downside. If it holds, then we're going to be looking up to the upside into the area of 50.53 to 50.74. So with that said, let's kick off the day and we'll talk through the trade as it develops. I didn't take a trade right away, but we can see that the bulls seized that opportunity and pushed really, really quickly all the way up to what? Very close to our resistance that we pointed out, the afternoon high, 50.74. I think we're 2 cents away from that. So 50.72, bulls are unable to break it. Rejection from a resistance suggests we're going to see, if not consolidation, then downside. So daily bulls, short-term exhaustion. Intraday bulls have pushed up to the upside to a resistance and now need to chill out a little bit because they are 2-minute overbought. So wow. Now we start to see a little bit of a waterfall situation. Now, a waterfall is when you have a really, really quick drop on a small time frame and you have consistently lower highs on each candlestick. And we can see that it's building up pretty clearly here. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it more effectively. There's our resistance. Every high of each successive candlestick is lower and lower. That creates a pattern. And patterns are things we can utilize to tell when things shift. When does the story change? And price action and pattern tell us when things change from waterfall down to something else. We don't know necessarily what that is going to be, but when we have waterfall down and we change, it's more likely we're going to see sideways or upside versus straight continuation because there is a change from what the established norm has been, and that is waterfall down. Now, as we proceed into this waterfall down, we start to notice this should look like an oversold bounce condition. The problem with this is that the RSI uses 14 periods of calculation. So it is incorporating all of this data and a lot of this data, and what that creates is an average that's really right about here. Now, when we look at our RSI, we can see that we're still at 41.96. So this is an interesting situation where we have to not apply as much practice to the actual RSI value rather than what the psychological implications of this structure represent. So we're looking for a key change, and that key change is going to be the loss of these consecutive higher lows on each candlestick. So every time we get a close, we can start marking what the low is and move it down each and every time until we get a high over 49.45. So at this point in the stream, Dan's pointing out this waterfall down. I go and look at it in the 1-minute time frame. It looks pretty aggressive. I like the fact that we have a 2-minute straight drop. 1 minute is barely stair-stepping down. We're getting close to 1 minute oversold. And you know what? This is a good place for me to start scouting a position. Now I got to go to the 15-second time frame because I like to watch on very, very small time frames. And I like to have the experience and education of watching these actual trends take place. So a lot of TradingView accounts don't have access to 15-second data. You really don't need 15-second data. I don't usually trade on 15-second data, but it allows me to see what's happening inside the market structure. So here we are at 49.25. We get a little bit of a bounce, and you know what? I like this. 49.25 has held on the 15 successive candlesticks. What we're going to be looking for is a high risk entry. We're going to get in right about now, and we are going to stop out, or actually, we're going to get right about now, scale in one of two positions. The second position would be a break and a lack of flush under 49. So that is our low of day. If we were able to get down there and we didn't see a lot of follow through, that's a really good indication that bulls are going to be able to push back to the upside. So we have two theoretical entries here. I have taken a position already right under 49.45, and what we see is that shift in the narrative. Remember how we're talking about 49.45, the successive lows of each candlestick? It's now been broken. So things have changed. The story is a little bit different now. And now we are looking to either sideways or upside. So as we continue through this movement, we can see that we have 49.25 act as a double bottom. In fact, a double bottom on the 1 minute time frame. So here is our support, a nice area for us to stop out against. If you're not already in a trade on 49.45 at the break of it, you can get back a second, I should say you can get a second opportunity when you get a clear and consistent break over that level. So things are looking a little bit better now, right? We have stopped our successive lower highs on each candlestick. We are scouting 2 minute waterfall oversold conditions. That psychological structure is working for us. 15-second time frame is giving us an area of support that we can stop out against. So we are in just under 49.45, and our stop loss is going to be a new low under 49.25. Why? Because if we drop back down there, the bulls just aren't interested, and there's likely to going to be a lot more downside continuation. So we are in a position, we have a stop loss. The first goal for us is going to be moving our stop loss to break even. What we're going to be planning is an exit and a scale out. So at this point, if I can get myself to break even, I am very happy. That's going to be a successful trade for me. My first target is really going to be up here at high a day because we don't have any other resistance inside of the 2 minute time frame. 50.72 is where I'm going to be looking to scale out probably half of my position. And that is what happened. So let's walk through that process. 15-second time frame is underway. We'll just stay here for a little while. Watch this develop. We can see that the bulls are coming in. Volume for the bulls outweighs the bears, and we start to get 15-second higher lows. So 49.42 becomes a nice little area for us. Now we're at risk of building a flag here, but until that flag actually has some sort of execution, it's still going to be a 2 minute uptrend. In fact, on the 1 minute time frame, there's a potential for a flag, but that aggressive move by the bulls sort of negates that a little bit. So the 15-second structure does look like we could have a flag, but we look at it on the 2 minute time frame. So as we break 49.65, we set our 15-second higher lows at 49.42. We build our little base of support. So what we'll do at that point is move our stop loss up to 49.41. Why? Because it is close enough to break even for me that I don't care. I am just going to be happy to have a level that I'm going to know we need to hold for the bulls to maintain their upside continuation. So here we are on our way. Our stop loss is more or less break even. 41.42 gets tested. 49.41 was its stop loss. So just eked out on that one. I didn't realize how close I got. And as we move to the upside, we're going to start changing our time frames. Why? Because we need to start looking for higher lows. We have 1 minute area of support right there. 1 minute bulls in control. We keep moving to the upside. And what we're doing now is we are trying to get that exit that we planned, right? Our first target is going to be 50.74. But what we need to do is manage our stop losses on the way up. Right now we're break even, but we want to make some money. So we will continue to walk up our stop losses at the next opportunity. Now 49.42 was where we had our stop loss, 49.41 actually, and we came back down, defended that level, and after we defended that level, bulls proved that they had that upside interest. So they push very aggressively all the way up to 50.74. Where is it here? So I took partial profits. I exited half of my position right at 50.72 just because it was too good to be true. And now we are in a very, very good position with one half of our position at 49.42 and the other half we've locked in our profits. So we have made money no matter what. Now the next step is going to be, when do we exit the second half of our trade? Now we've got ourselves 2-minute higher lows, just barely, but look how much room we have between our 49.42 and our 50.74. There's a ton of room here to establish a 2-minute higher low, and that's what we want to do. So we go and let the market decide what it wants to do with that information. So the most likely outcome is going to be a 2 and 5 minute higher low over top somewhere of 49.42. The problem is there's so much bread there that we've got a lot of room to work with. Now, as we see the bulls continue to push, we get a possible volume climax right here at, what is that, 51.07. And now we're looking for the bears to attack all the way to EMA 12. Bulls bounce back up. Now, if we can break over top of our 51.07, that's going to lock in a 5-minute higher low. So that happens. We go to our 5-minute time frame. There's that beautiful 5-minute higher low, a 2-minute higher low. And you know what? That becomes my new stop loss right there. 50.75 looking good. I'm going to get rid of this guy to reduce some confusion. Now what we're going to keep doing is exactly this. We're going to walk up our stop losses over and over and over again until we get stopped out. 2-minute time frame continues. Bulls in charge. 2-minute overbought conditions. So we'll start to look for a little bit of a reversal, a little bit of a bounce. And now if we go into the 1-minute time frame, we can see we got a 2-minute double bottom. So when we have two successive attacks on a key level, it starts to get a little bit of concern, especially after we have a potential volume climax. A volume climax is when you have a sudden influx and deviation in the amount of volume, where you, in addition to seeing that buying pressure, you also see the addition of a lot of selling pressure. And both of those combined create a high volume candlestick. And the key difference is, again, is the change in behavior. No longer are we just seeing buying, we're seeing buying, plus we're starting to see a lot of profit taking. So if the profit taking continues and the buying dissipates in fear of that profit taking, the trend can change. What we've got is a double bottom at 51.31. A lower high under 51.74 is going to give us a high, a higher high, lower high structure, sometimes called a head and shoulders pattern. Head and shoulders pattern is just that. It's a high, higher high, lower high pattern. If we see a lower high under 51.74 and we see a loss of 51.31, then that is an execution of that pattern, and we're going to stop out at 51.30. So let's see what happens here. A little bit of a pullback. Can we hold this 51.31? No, we break it, and then we start consolidating to the downside. So that was a pretty effective trade, right? We got in at the waterfall condition. Our conservative entry for this play would have been the change in pattern, the high over top of 49.45. We get a little bit more aggressive on that one. Our first scale out was at 50.72, that high day resistance, and we allowed the market to walk up our 2-minute and 5-minute higher lows, stopping out right over here at 51.29. So far, so good. Now, the day is not over yet. Let's go see what the market looks like right now, and perhaps we will follow up with this again. So 2-minute time frame. Actually, let's go to the 5-minute time frame. 5-minute time frame is seeing some pretty significant pullback. Now, there's not really a trend here, so what we can do is go to the 15-minute time frame and say, hey, we are going to be looking for a 15-minute higher low over the low of day. And after a good half an hour or so, we're starting to see what could become that 15-minute higher low. Going to the 15-minute time frame, here we are. We've got our bottom. If we go back to our 2-minute time frame, we can see that we have a near, well, a triple, maybe even quadruple bottom on the 2-minute time frame, 49.65, 50.12, 49.66. Look at that tightening range. This is a really, really aggressive type of play. I didn't make this trade. In fact, I'm just checking back on it now. But look how nice and tight this is. If we take a bull position with continued upside potential, looking for that 50-minute higher low, we have a really nice place to stop out against. So say you're hovering right here at 49.71, stop out at 49.64. Beautiful risk to reward on that type of play. So right now we're looking for that 50-minute higher low. Very likely have it set now. What we need to do is see if the 5-minute bulls can come back and get a 2 and 5 minute higher low somewhere over that 49.65, and that's what we're going to be fishing for. Some sort of sign of consolidation that's going to give us a higher low, a 2 minute trend change, locking in that 50-minute higher low and giving us opportunity to push back up into the 51.40 range. I would anticipate we would hit resistance in the, somewhere between, I don't know, right around 50.78, something like that, just because this is a nice little area of congestion. In fact, why don't we just call it 50.72? It would be the previous morning high, a historical high, and a nice little area of congestion from this morning as well. So again, scouting a 2 minute higher low into 50.72 for resistance. All right, so we missed our opportunity for a 2 minute higher low, but I'm not really confident in that anyway. Not something I'm going to be trading right away, but I want to see some loss of 50.10 and then a 5 minute higher low right underneath that level. That would be ideal for me. I would take that and look for a 5 minute higher high. Look at how much room we have for a 5 minute higher low. We're opening up a lot of this range, and I think bears want to see an attempt before bulls really get convinced. And if I'm wrong, then great. Nice to see the bulls do something positive again, and I'm not going to worry about it. All right, so we can see that we held the 50.10 level. We now have a 2 minute uptrend, and I'm going to move on from NIO. Not going to chase this trade. There'll be another one shortly, somewhere else. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. If this is useful, your comments, questions are appreciated. I like to expand and teach. It's really what I do. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to making more of these. Take care.